Yeah, game one. Here we go. It's exciting to get another season started. We're obviously coming off what we think was a very, very good preseason that actually started with us in Spain, and obviously two exhibition games where we've been in front of our fans. So Eastern comes to town. Have so much respect for Marty and the job he's done over his career. I think he's one of the best offensive coaches, maybe in the country. I think he does a great job on that end of the court. They're a new team. They've got a lot of new faces. They've got a very dynamic point guard who's been, I don't know, 23, 24 a game in their two scrimmages and lives in the paint. Be a great challenge for us. Jermaine, we obviously know he's been, I think he's a fifth year now. So Jermaine's been really impressive in the early scrimmages, and we know his bounds, we know his athleticism, and they've got some nice pieces. They're a much older team than they were a year ago. The portal transfers have allowed them to do that. They're going to play really hard. They disrupt passing lanes. They'll play with speed and pace, led by their point guard. And then, you're going to be forced to have to guard really good actions. So I'm excited about that for us and to see where we've come from the Kansas exhibition. And I thought we improved from one to the other. Now these all count. And been solid in practice. We've tried to manage the week in a positive way and dial in on a lot of scenarios and talk about situations and presses and late game stuff, and so all those start to come into play. But we're excited to get started. We're excited for our fans, and this is game one of what we hope is can be a great 5 months. So we're looking forward to getting it kicked off.
What did you maybe learn about the team, post Spain, just getting two more games, live to kind of see what they can do?
Yeah, I think that we didn't get the full effect because we didn't have Marcus in Spain. I've been really impressed with this group in their attention to detail, how matter of fact they approach things in practice. I've been very impressed with our chemistry and our connectivity and our competitive stuff in practice. We've had, I think today's 22 practices, 23 since post Spain, and I've liked our ability to have 90% of them been really good, and so there's that maturity, that connectivity. I love our versatility. You kind of saw a little bit of that with what we did with Marcus in the Kansas scrimmage. Our ability to play a variety of ways with pick and pop fives, and then Dane is a guy that is turned into an elite roller. So I thought we did a really good job of guarding KU's motion. They call it 4-game, and I think we handled that pretty well. We didn't handle some specific situations very well out of their sets, but those are early season problems. But I like where this team's at and what we're our approach towards practice and our approach towards solving problems.
Kind of with the experience you have and the time you had in Spain, has that allowed you guys to maybe be more comfortable or fluid on offense, if that makes sense?
I think what it's done is Spain in practices allowed us to find out who we were a little bit on that end, and having guys available to us, and not having guys, even though we didn't have Marcus a good chunk of him, we had him enough, and so you developed an identity from that side of things because of those practices where. We were searching a year ago at this time as to who we were. So instead of searching, we knew, and then we could go practice, and we could define those things, and I think we've done that.
What do you feel like is different offensively for you guys this year versus last year? I know you liked the 5-out dynamic going into last season. You still got some of that with Coleman, pick and pop, and high post stuff. What do you think is different? Because you got multiple spots for playmaking, and how have you approached just getting what you want out of that, and what's different about it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing came, and it was one of the true positives out of the Kansas scrimmage, is they went to 4- and 5-way switching. Last year, that was a problem. That was an issue that led to a lot of us playing around the 3-point line, never penetrating it, never diving, never creasing it. They went to some cross-matching, putting Hunter on Ty. We got a wide-open 3, but the important thing is we got 26 free throws against their 5-way switching and in the second half. And we have spent a tremendous amount of time offensively figuring out the pace with which we had to play, how to bust up switches, how to slip out of them. We had a turnover late. If you remember, Coleman missed Quincy. It was wide open, and Quincy just turned his head, back too early. Those are things that I like, and then we got to the foul line out of that because we found a crease and found a gap, and we drove the ball in the paint, and we were aggressive downhill. That last year we couldn't do that.
How can maybe playing with Marcus, Coleman, Terrence maybe help Ty just as he moves into this maybe primary ball handler role? Yeah,
it's not that we had. I mean, I think a primary ball handler stuff's so overrated. We get the ball off the defensive glass. We have multiple pushers. I watched the Nuggets the other night. Jokic brought the ball up the floor about 85% of the time. I mean, I think it's just a way to facilitate. It's more impactful maybe when we run sets, but he doesn't. Ty's a really good ball handler. I think he's a really good decision maker. I think that there's it doesn't just have to be him and a ball screen. It's going to be a variety of guys, and we've always been that way. When we had Andres Feliz and Io and Trent, it was just kind of the matchup. I think we have that same versatility in that same lineup, and I love that. He's very good, and he's strong. The start of that game against Kansas was it impressive. And he's going out against one of the elite defenders in college basketball, and got that thing right to the front of the rim.
How valuable was it to get that closing stretch in an exhibition game against a high-level opponent, just to see that, and what'd you take from that going into the season when they count?
Yeah, Kansas always wins those games. It's Kansas. I mean, Kansas wins. They get it 70-70, and we turned it over a couple trips, and they're veterans, they're old, and those are games that Kansas has always won. And to me, that was one of the other bright spots, is to get to that point, and at 12-5 down the stretch, and do it with a couple stops, and to do it with execution, and that's the kind of stuff that we can continue to say we did it against them, because they're one of the best defenses in the country, and learn from that and grow with that, and have confidence we can close out games.
Kansas sincere had that play, got the ball in the perimeter, and just like automatic rip drive, took it to the basket. How important is it for him to maybe just to maximize what he does by doing the things he does best?
Yeah, that's the puzzle is putting guys in position to maximize what they do and what they're best at. And you know, it's a little bit of a growing. You know, you've got to figure out what the defense is doing, how they're playing you, and then still figure out if you can do what you do best. And sometimes the defense just takes it away. Sometimes the best play is next time. You know, just sometimes you got to punt. You know, and wait till the next time. And those are when you grow up. Those are the growth things. And I think Sincere picked his opportunity. He knew he had a great opportunity on that play. I thought it was fabulous. And there's other times when you just can't force it. You got to reverse the ball. You got to continue to grow in those areas and trust your offense, trust your teammates, and you know. And then next time, maybe it may look a little different, so you can go do that. And I think that's the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores.
I guess heading into the season, how do you kind of feel about where the team's at defensively?
You know, I mean, it's like I ask our team, would we have won that game in Allen Fieldhouse? Wasn't near as confident. You know, we won the game here, but you know we've won a lot of games on the road in the Big Ten over the last 4 years. We've done it because we've guarded and we've rebounded. We were +7 on the rebound side. I like that. Monday's a new challenge. We made too many mistakes. There were certain situations, certain scenarios that we gave up too many uncontested layups at the rim where we just didn't challenge. We just gave them layups. Nobody in college basketball is going to miss those. We practiced every day defending and contesting shots at the rim. We got to get better at those. And when we have guys out there, we can't have a weak link. You know, it's the old cliche: you're only as strong as the weakest link in your chain. And you get a guy that makes mistakes, the other four have to cover. I thought we played hard. I thought we did some positive things. I thought we handled their motion great, as I said. But certain situations we didn't, and certain sets and actions we've got to spend time on and clean up. But you know, scouting will help. We'll help clean some of those up. But too many uncontested layups, gave them 6 or 8 points in transition. All those things we can't do.
Against Kansas, when Ty was off the floor, Marcus played a lot on the ball. Obviously, Draven and Nico can be in that spot as well. What do you need to see out of them early in the season to give you confidence that they can play in that role?
Yeah, it's just getting their feet wet. For both of those guys, it impacts. They're good offensively. Both those guys, I don't have one problem with on the offensive side of things. I mean, they both have great feel. They both have great instincts. Nico's a tremendous facilitator. He gets people involved. He's elite in ball screens. Draven can score that thing. We don't have many others that can score like him. I mean, he can really get it going and do it in a variety of ways. But for both those guys, it's that consistency, playing with teammates on the defensive end and not making mistakes or not getting picked on because of a lack of size or becoming tougher and stronger. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges. I have tremendous confidence in their abilities on the offensive side, and they're going to get ample opportunities to play because we need them. And game experience is what those guys need to see the most of.
I know last year I had some bigger lineups. When you have lineups like the one you started with, where everybody's 6'5", 6'6", or taller, how do you utilize that length just defensively?
Yeah, it's an advantage. We think. I think that the court looks shrunk from an offensive standpoint. You know, when you're in gaps and you've got length and you've got the ability to cover space because of size. I think it really affects jump shooters when you're contested and you've got a Ty Rodgers, 6'11" wingspan up in your face compared to a guy who's 6'1" and got a 6'5", wingspan. I think getting hands in passing lanes and deflections and all those things are vital. The obvious is, your ability to switch. When you've got everybody out there that's like size, it doesn't impact you from a mismatch standpoint quite as much. So I like it, but there's a variety of reasons, and we still got to continue to get better in some of those areas of switching and handling that. But size helps.
You went into last season needing a lot from younger guys, probably a decent amount of unknown in that. Does it feel differently as a coach going into this year with the experience you have and just how that outlook is for you right now? Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. You very seldom. I always go back to Io, and his freshman year, and there were a lot of misses, a lot of crazy plays. Sophomore and junior, those were all winning plays. Just simply because you don't know, and you've got to put people in those. But as a veteran, you've been in those, Marcus and Terrence and Coleman, and you've stepped to the line and made free throws. You haven't been afraid to get a foul. Quincy driving the ball and going 8 of 10 from the free throw line and hitting a big corner three. Those guys have been in those moments. They don't think about making or missing the shot. They just make the play because they've done it before. So there's a lot of comfort in that. We still have to get great at it. We still have to practice it. We still have to get these guys comfortable in those situations. But we've got a lot of options with guys who've been there.
I guess now that you've got 2 games with the officials calling block charge the new way, what have your kind of thoughts been on how that's either changed things or if maybe it hasn't?
Well, I think it's been good. I'm a big fan of it. I think that it's we may see some more fouls called here early. That you're looking at really I've always said that a charge is one of the biggest momentum swings on any single play there is. It puts a foul on somebody, it wipes a basket away. It's a dejection. The other coach is usually upset because you committed a charge, and the other coach is happy because the guy took a charge and said, and so it's a big momentum play. There's going to be less of those. There's going to be more free throws, but I think it's something that can be very beneficial for us, and we practice defending it. Going vertical in college. We want to touch the roof. With verticality, we didn't do that very well in the Kansas game, especially at the rim. But it's something we do practice a lot.
What'd you think of John Paddock in Minneapolis yesterday?
When your roll is called, your number is called, you better be ready. And if you look up the dictionary today and his picture's in it when it comes to that. And I was extremely happy for Brett and that group, and to never say never. You never quit. You just keep fighting. I don't know, what was it, 4th and 11? And then absolutely just threw a perfect ball to Isaiah on the touchdown. And I mean, that's when you've prepared the right way and you've had a great week of practice. And my hat's off to him, because it's not easy to do, not knowing whether you're going to play or not. And everybody loves a backup quarterback until he has to go perform. And to his credit, he stepped up and helped us win a ball game. So that's hats off, and it's always good to get a road win. See you tomorrow.